Everyone's in. Just needed to do a
All right.
little reboot here.
No.
Damn, y'all.
Hello, hello, hello. Oh,
Yeah,
there you
You're
go.
good.
yeah,
You're
we
good. You're
we
good.
back.
Everything's even better now. Actually,
Yeah,
there's
yeah. You
I'm
Okay,
sound
not
way
getting much of
clearer.
a lag.
good. All right, take two, y'all. Woo! We're back on the drum stream. Thank
Woo!
you guys for being here,
Let me
being
get some
patient,
drumsticks. Get some drumsticks here.
being
Oh,
patient
I
with
don't got
us.
drumsticks here. Oh shit.
Oh.
Sorry, I've been having too much fun with this little Casio keyboard over here. Um, all right, so let's kind of jump right in and let's kind of go to this. Well, we want to give the people what they want here. Let's talk to Andy. I'm gonna bypass the drum news this week. It wasn't really much other than Andy released a new clinic video, which I had the pleasure of checking out and purchasing. Very
Oh.
cool. Talks about the Prado method and applying those to singles, doubles, and fours, all in about a very nice, palatable video. Andy, how is?
Thank you, man.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
I really appreciate you giving us the knowledge like that, and maybe I know we can jump into like what the Prado method is, but I always just kind of want to know right before we kind of signed off. You said you began playing drums at the age of 2. I'm always curious on how
Yeah.
on at what point did you
How that
mark?
started?
Yeah,
I mean, like a lot of these guys, a lot of the drummers that we look up to, a lot of them um started playing around that age on pots and pans and already making beats.
yeah,
Mhm.
And for me, that was the case. And my parents, they, they used to tell me all the time, yeah, you started around 2 and you were playing on pots and pans. You would take them out, you would try to grab forks or whatever utensils I could get. If I couldn't, I'd do it with my hands, and you would make a pattern and you would stick to that pattern, that drum beat, and you would just continue playing and continue playing. You had rhythm.
right.
So that's how it started for me. And then at I think at 3 they gave me my first drum set, but it's
Like
like
some
one of
first
those toy
stack.
drum sets, that
Yeah.
you get. Yeah, exactly. Some like paper cardboard shit. And I ripped it to pieces. I broke it in a matter of days. That's how much I loved it. And from then on, they knew that, okay, there's something special with this little mofo. So
Mhm.
so they started taking me to church around that age. I started playing with the main worship band at 4. And
Wow.
it's so funny. I'll talk to some guys and be like, yeah, man, I started at church at 4 too. And I still remember the first song I played. And I still remember the first song I played, bro. And it's that Celebrate Jesus Celebrate song. I don't know if you guys heard it, but
Mhm.
it's just literally 4 on the floor.
Mhm.
And I was just boom, 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 bah, boom, bah. And that was me at 4, at church. And I never stopped. And at 16 is when I really got my mind blown drum wise by a friend of mine, because I used to be in the jazz band in high school. He gave me a VHS tape, a Hudson VHS tape, a videotape, bro, a video
Mhm.
cassette.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it was just promoting Omar Hakim's new video, Dennis Chambers' new video, Bobby Rock, who's this metal drummer that no one really cares about anymore or knows about, and Simon Phillips. So Hudson was promoting these 4 guys,
Mhm.
and so each one of those guys had like a small 10-minute clip promoting their own videos.
Mhm.
And the video clip that was there from Dennis Chambers was one of the clips from Serious Moves. And have you guys ever seen that video?
No, where's
I
that?
think so. Yeah. Is it a Hudson joint? Into the Dennis Chambers Hudson
Yeah.
music joint? Yeah, I've seen that. He's got a yellow
Yes.
drum kit, like a
So
yellow pearl. Is that
no,
what
he
you
has
mean?
a baby blue drum kit.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah. So he has two, like In the Pocket and Serious Moves.
Mhm.
And um that's when I like knew for sure. I mean, I kind of already had an idea that this is what I wanted to do, but when I saw Dennis Chambers play, man, it changed my life, and I'm like, that's how I want to play. Like, I want to learn all that stuff, and the rest is history. You know what I'm saying?
Were you like sitting in the like I remember when I got my first like bigger kit, it was this PDP CX series kit, like and it had a video. I think it had a Tommy Igo video in it, and then there's like how to put together your drum kit, and then like Groove Essentials, like the
Oh
DVD.
yeah,
And
yeah. I know what you're talking
and
about.
bro, I remember stretching the TV like cord like extended out from the wall like into the garage so that I could watch that and put together my drum set, And I just think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it's so cool that like there was a whole generation of drummers to like prior to like seeing rock or like rock band or garage or like school of rock that were just like looking at these DVD racks at Guitar Center or had these VHS tapes of their favorite drummers. Like those were like huge, in the 90s, like coming up, like looking at all like Dennis Chambers videos, fucking Steve Jordan videos, like all these fat drummers that are just like still killing it respectively today, obviously, but like were very like did you sit in front of the TV and like kind of like try to copy some of these licks and like did you learn some basic vocabulary off these videos?
I never set up the drum set in front of these VHS tapes. I just watched them every day religiously.
Right.
When I mean
Mm-hmm.
religiously, like I mean
Mm-hmm.
I was watching these videos as soon as I got home from high school. I put that VHS tape, and then once they became available in DVDs, oh, it's even better, because with VHS you had to like press the button and wait till it got
Rewind.
there, and then you would mess up the whole tape.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. So I would get home like at 4ish, and I'd watch these till I fell asleep. Like I would just repeat it, watch, repeat, watch, repeat, watch, repeat, like nonstop, bro. And I did that for like 4 years, like 3, 4 years, just watching these videos. And I got all the modern drummer videos, like the festivals and
Mm.
like Dave Weckl back to basics,
Mm-hmm.
um, like all that stuff. The David Garibaldi, stuff that's out there was on DVD. I saw all that stuff, and I just watched it by. I just learned by watching and listening. I wasn't trying to
Mm-hmm.
like mimic it when I was watching it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it
Mm-hmm.
was just I was internalizing it every day, so much, constantly, constantly, constantly. And then
Mm-hmm.
when I would get on the drums, obviously I would try to mimic what I remember hearing and listening, not from what I remember watching. Like I was trying to mimic what I remember listening to and hearing, and then that's it. Just from there, it just progressively got better and progressively got better, and I love that period of time, man. When I was a youngster and I was a teenager, just being wowed for the first time by
Mm.
Simon Phillips and Dennis Chambers and like those guys.
Sure. Was there anyone that coming up in your like teen years that gave that kind of saw that you had some shit going on and maybe gave you a chance to do something I guess similar to like when you played church first time? Was there anyone past that gave you a chance at say 10 or 13 or 16 whenever?
Yeah, well, actually, my first drum hero is this local guy. His name's Edwin Santos. Back in the day, he was like the best drummer alive to me. Like there was no one better than this guy. Obviously, I didn't know any better. I didn't know much. So he was like a local in the church scene. He was like a local drum hero. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So every time he
Mm-hmm.
would come to my church, I was like, whoa, like damn, like this motherfucker's killing. And I fell in love with his playing. And when he saw me play as a 7, 8 year old, he told my family and my parents and my cousins, like, yo, like this kid, like, he's playing a lot better than a lot of adults, you know?
Mm.
So like, cultivate him, like, show him, like, have him listen to all styles of music. And then my first legit official drum kit, he gave it to me, bro. When I
Oh.
was 15, we went to a Christian camp, a youth camp. There was like 400 people, bro, and he had just gotten this 90s Gretsch Maple Catalina, bro. And he took it to that camp, and that's what he was playing on. And I remember that weekend, he said that God told him that he had to give me that drum set because he had like, because I was gonna be like, one of the best, that I was gonna make it, and I don't know what. So he struggled with that for 3 days. He didn't want to give me his drum kit. He had just bought it, you know?
Yeah.
And so then, bro, Sunday morning comes, and this is at Cedar Crest, which is in Big Bear. I don't know if you've ever been there. And before the preaching starts, he goes up to the altar in front of like 400 kids. He's like, yo, I want to call Andy up to the front. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, my heart's beating fast. I'm like, what is going on? Like, what did I do something wrong? Right. Damn, I knew I should have talked to all those girls this weekend, you know? So like, I go up to the front, bro, and he's like, Andy, I just want to let you know that I was struggling with this all weekend. You know, God had been telling me to give you this drum kit. I would say no. I kept having dreams about it. So I want to let you know, you see this brand new drum kit behind you. It's yours. It's yours. I was told you don't have a drum kit. And he said that God told me I didn't have a drum kit. No one told him that. Bro, this is true story, bro. I still have that drum kit, by the way. It's one of my favorite drum kits of all time. That's why I never want to give it away. And on that drum kit is where I really started to practice and really hone my craft. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So he's definitely someone that deposited a huge blessing in my life. Like, I wouldn't know where I would be here if it wasn't for that drum kit. You know what I'm saying?
Man, that's really cool. Like, how much gas did that give you, like, going forward? Like, bro, I got this sick drum kit. Like, you seem to be at that impressionable age, like, where you're just like, it's like go time. Like, someone, gave you the key, in a way.
Absolutely. No, for sure. Like, I mean, this is 2003, bro. This is like summer 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And every summer after that, every day after school, I would come home and just sit on the drum set in my backyard and just play the crap out of it, you know? And I was trying to be Dennis Chambers. Like, I was trying to do all the crazy singles, crossovers.
Mm-hmm.
I was playing on pillows, and I was just playing on that kit like crazy, man. And I remember during summer vacation, I would practice 8 hours a day, not knowing what I was doing, but I just wanted to play drums, bro. And
Yeah.
I would put on my iPod and just play.
For real. Yeah, I would like to, let's jump into those early, like, practicing days, like, when you had the time. I mean, like, a lot of us, wish we can go back to those, like, 16, 17-year-old us and, like, slap us in the face, be like, yo, 8 hours a day, give yourself 2 years, you chump, like, like, go do it. So what were you doing? What were you thinking about? Like, were there any early bands that maybe you were in that, like, kind of crafted, like, your ear?
The crazy thing is I never really talk about my teenage years. I always talk about Dave Village, because I started taking lessons with Dave Village when I was 19.
Uh-huh.
I always talk about 19 and on. There's there's like seasons in my life, where I jumped. And then the Lord said, I'm just kidding. So my teenage years, bro, are very interesting because I never took lessons up till Dave Village at 19. But before that, everything was just watching and listening, and then YouTube, when YouTube came around. But in my teenage years, man, like, from when I got that drum kit on, which is 2003 to 2006, I was, especially during summer vacation, like, I was practicing 8 hours a day, but it was just doodling, because I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was just playing to, like, my iPod, and I was listening to this band called Maná, which is like a famous rock Spanish band.
Hell yeah.
Of course.
So, like, my first drum hero was Alex Gonzalez. Like, that's who I wanted to aspire to be like.
Damn,
you
bro.
know? So I was mimicking everything. Because I had all the records on my iPod. So, like, I was mimicking exactly everything. Like, and now it's so funny because now, like, we know each other, and he's like a fan of my drumming, and he's like, because we're with Paiste, and that's how he found out about me. And
Mhm.
I told him, like, bro, if you ever get injured, call me because I know every song by heart. Like I know every little nuance of
Mhm.
every album, bro. That's how much I was playing it. So picture me playing all those albums 8 hours a day. Like that's what I was doing. I
Just
was,
Faye for
I
eight
was,
hours, dude.
That's crazy to like meet another. It's crazy to meet a drummer who really like understands the like whole mana tip, like, cause I mean, like my family is Mexican, like I'm first generation, and like mana was definitely like always blasting in the car, like
oh
all the
hell yeah,
time
Mm-hmm.
growing up, like on the way to church, like my dad, my mom, like mana was like so. It's just cool to like meet other people who really understand like those records and like what they were and what like rock in Mexico was at the time, and like I don't
oh
know.
yeah, bro,
It's really they were big pioneers. You know, they brought a lot of the rock en español to the States. You know.
yeah, and to the world, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I remember when they released Mana Unplugged MTV in 1999. Dude,
Uh-huh.
I watched that DVD like crazy too, and I was just trying to. I learned all his stuff, bro. Like
Mm.
when I talk to him again, I'm like, bro, I learned all your licks. I learned all your splash work, which um, he got from Stuart Copeland.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So like all that stuff, like it was my nod in and out for me during that
Mm,
time, man.
mm,
And at that's what I was playing on my iPod. I was also playing to a lot of gospel stuff on my
mm.
iPod, and then I was always. Do you guys remember the Pearl Drum forum discussion forum? They still have it, I think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like you go on their website and there's like the whole Pearl discussion forum.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Um, I remember someone put an interview of Dennis Chambers in 2004, and I remember I'm still trying to find the original link, but it's really hard because it's been such a long time. And I remember him giving tips on how to get fast and how to like work on your speed. And he talked about like playing on pillows, taping a quarter on a pillow, putting like putting very heavy books under your arms. And I started doing that too, man, in front of a mirror in my house. And I was just like an hour, 2 hours a day just doing that stuff because I was just very hungry, especially during the teenage years. So
Mm.
if I could describe my teenage years, was Mana, gospel music, 80s music, and Dennis Chambers and Simon Phillips.
Hell yeah.
Mm.
Oh, and Omar Hakim. Like that was those teenage years for me.
When did you start getting into the proggy stuff, the odd meter stuff, the whole the more fusiony side of the drumming? When did you start getting into all that stuff?
So I got into before I go into that, like I got into jazz when I was in ninth grade.
Uh-huh.
Because I joined the jazz band because I just really wanted to play drums. And a friend
Uh-huh.
of mine, another drummer friend of mine, he gave me this record with
Uh-huh.
Marvin Smitty Smith on it,
Oh,
Herbie
okay.
Hancock. It was either Freddie Hubbard or Wayne Shorter. I think it was Wayne Shorter, and Art Davis on upright. And
Uh-huh.
that was my first taste of like real jazz.
Uh-huh.
And that stuff, man, was way over my head, and I didn't
Uh-huh.
understand it.
Uh-huh.
But I was trying to mimic it and play it. When I
Uh-huh.
got really, really into jazz and then fusion and all that stuff
Uh-huh.
was around 19.
Uh-huh.
And it was because Dave Village gave me his whole musical archive.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Like, bro, like at one
Yeah.
point, me and Dave were really close. I've been lucky, man. Like, I've been lucky
Yeah,
to
yeah.
like, that I've had people like Dave Village, Ronald Bruner be in my life and like give me all these gold nuggets.
Hmm.
Dave literally told me, bring your USB, the fattest one you have. I'm gonna put it on my laptop and I'm gonna give you all my musical archive that I have and give it to you. And that's literally what he did, bro.
Yeah,
So
that's hard.
I
That's cool.
I started that's where I started listening to like Alan Holdsworth.
Yeah.
I mean all this stuff, bro.
All the joints, yeah. George
Mash-
Duke, like Billy Cobham.
yeah, Billy Cobham, Meshuggah, Charisma,
Yeah.
King Crimson,
Hmm.
Opeth, Sick, like
Hmm.
all that stuff, man. Return to Forever, you know,
Mhm.
Dennis, like all that stuff. He gave me all that stuff, and that's when I really got very, very nerdy about drums. Was from when I turned 19 and on.
Damn, holy
Yeah,
hell.
that's crazy. That's so good.
Yo, thank
That's
you,
that's
anonymous
so
lover. Wow, someone just
that's so
chucked up 50. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, that's
That's
tight.
killing.
Oh, yo, there's
Cracked our
comments here.
snares.
Yo,
Yeah, we got a couple things. We got a couple Hayes from Prado 77. Sabaseo.
that's my brother.
What up, bro? And Matt Bover says what up.
Yo, Bovers, Sebas.
And
I think Craig's here too. Craig Hamilton.
yeah, C Hamilton live. What up?
That that's Craig. That's
Yeah,
Craig.
we
What
got
up,
peeps in here.
boys?
Yeah, Prado says you remember the book times.
Mhm.
Man,
That's
so
that's that's my that's my blood brother right there, Prado 77.
yo, we got fam in the house.
Damn.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, that's
Shout out,
family.
shout out to the family,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Supporting.
And wow, yeah. Let's thanks for cranking our snares there. That was killing. Um, wow,
What it do,
I'm somewhat
Sebas?
speechless. Let's get back into something I just want to touch on. Yeah, let's go on your brother's kind of comment on the book thing. I was just trying to envision that in my head. You put large books under your arms and then you play on a quarter pillow. What is this?
Oh, my brother is like, what the fuck? I remember you putting books under your arms. Yeah, bro, my parents, because I would do this stuff and they'd look at me like, what the fuck is wrong with this
Who the
fool,
fuck
man?
told you that?
Like, right, like, and like they knew I was, bro. Dennis Chambers was like my dude, bro. Like I wanted to be like Dennis Chambers. I have a picture of me setting up like Dennis Chambers. I had the whole pearl rack.
Oh wow,
Like
wow.
I had the pearl rack. I had I had the earth ride. Like
Dang.
I was dressing like dude. I wanted to be Dennis. So what I would do, because I'm older than I'm older. You know, I'm in my early 30s. So back in my day, we still had yellow pages, bro.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Dennis said, grab the thickest yellow pages. And obviously the people that live in the biggest cities have the biggest advantage because there's millions of people, right?
Big
Mhm.
ass pages.
So I would put these, exactly, bro. They were like hella thick, bro.
Damn.
And I would put these yellow pages under my arms, hold them tight, and then I would play rudiments on a pillow, and that would make my arms and forearms burn. And it was really loosening my wrists because I was just doing wrist movements. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then once I did that, I taped a quarter on the pillow, and I was trying to play rudiments on a quarter while holding these yellow pages under my arms. Like, man, you know what? I'm gonna do a video,
You should,
a professional
bro.
video of me holding
That
these
shit-
books under my arms. Like a lot of, like, so I've talked to some people and they're like, yo, like, that sounds kind of stupid. Like, how does that work though? And then I have to go give a whole ergonomic, statistical reason why it works. And I'm like, hey man, if Dennis Chambers said it and it worked for me, like, that's all I'm saying, bro. So, um,
Well, you're isolating your your forearm and wrist muscle groups. That's what's happening, and you're putting
exactly.
pressure. That so like all the tension is gonna go into that muscle group, and you're
Because
gonna like
you're holding them
no.
tight with your elbows. You know what I'm saying? You got
Mhm.
to make sure they stay under your arms. So it kind of creates this like this form where your back is straight and you're really working towards keeping like your posture straight and just like
Mhm.
working like your wrists. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. That I mean, it makes sense. Like it's just a way to really extort that muscle group and stretch it out and like pump it. So
Yeah.
I mean,
It's very
obviously,
it's it's very
even how you
unconventional.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like even in the clips that I see of you, like really wilding out, going fast with the sweeps and stuff. I mean, that's the shit that gets you there. As silly as it sounds, as absurd as it sounds, that's what separates like the people who can do that and the people who can't.
Right. It just allowed my arms to move easier from the snare to the cymbals and from toms to cymbals because when you're practicing with these things under your arms and you're trying to move around the drum kit while holding them, like it just, it's kind of like you're practicing underwater, you know, which I did as well. Like whenever I would get like pool access, like I remember when I started going to the gym when I was like in my early 20s, like I would go to the pool after working out and like literally just try to do rudiments under the water. And I remember me and Sharik Tucker talking about that. And he's like, "Yeah, you do that too?" I'm like, "Heck yeah, you do it? Damn, no wonder." Like, you know, it makes sense why, like, you start to create this kind of like lightweight feel to moving around the kit. You know what I mean? And so that's another little secret, man. Like, if someone can do it like every day for months, every day in the pool for an hour, and just grab sticks and like really move your arms underwater, bro. It's like going to another planet and having a lot of gravity, you know? It's
Bro,
like Dragon Ball Z, bro.
I had this picture of you like having the snare stand and the fucking real feel like in the pool, bro. No, but you just take sticks.
Dude.
Can you imagine having your pool snare stand and your pool reel feel?
Bro.
You're like, it's all soggy and you just leave it outside on your porch. You bring it with you on your trunks.
Bro, me and Forrest at his house in 2015 or 16, we were both like had our arms under the water, and we were trying to play all rudiments as fast as we could.
That's so
and
sick.
That shit was hilarious, bro, because we got out of the pool all sweaty and shit, bro. That was funny. but I'm telling you, man, like there's a lot of little things that have played into who I am, you know?
Sure. Man, that's some if you're talking about gold nuggets, man, that's like a damn mine right there, dude. Play underwater, y'all. Practice your swimming.
Try it.
And try that shit. Go into the deep end and play 16 single paradiddles. All right?
Make sure you put your whole Billy Cobham drum set under the water. Oh, you're gonna be sore, bro, for sure. I'll tell you that.
Dang. So you just move as quick as you can. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, man, all these drummers are gonna go in their pools now and their post Labor Day pool parties. Everyone's gonna be like, "The heck's Jimmy doing over there in the shallow end, man?"
I mean, really, any forearm workout, even at the gym, like I always make sure to do forearm resistance workouts to grow the forearm.
Yeah.
That way, like on the kit, like it's butter. It's butter. You can really geek out and play fast and sweep and shit, and you're still in creative mode. You're not in like, oh my gosh, I'm like using all my gas to like reach for the stars. You know, it's like, no, you kind of have a lot more of this stuff in the bag. You coast more on ridiculous shit, and that's like the whole point. You know, you want to be relaxed even when, you know, you're playing chaotic or like hard. You know, you want to have like the best technique to be able to do that and to keep doing that, because like me in Dallas, like I played a really fucked up set with my band, and then I had to play with my homie Jeremy and his band, and all that shit is just free. It's like astral, like free jazz. Like it's like a lot of soft like chopping and like swelling and stuff. Is a really free, crazy set. And like, you know, and I had like a bunch of drum solo stuff. I literally had to was constantly on some like sweep crazy shit for like an hour or 2 hours almost. So it's like you have to like work out the forearms. I always tell people, you work out your chest and forearms and your legs, if you just work out and like develop good technique at the same time and work out your creativity, I mean, and your time, I mean, that's it. That's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much all the angles of drumming that you need: creativity, you know, fitness, and time, and you're fucking good to go. I mean,
yeah, groove, feel, all that stuff. Like,
yeah,
I also would lie on the ground and I would have my brother run over my forearms with the tires of the car, just to make sure. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was just like, oh my god.
Do not try that at home, everybody. Do not try that at home. Yeah, back her up.
Yo, back that shit up. Run over my forearms.
Just wake up, bro. I
Oh,
you
snap.
gotta try this, bro.
You got fucking
No, don't do that.
tire tread bruises on your arms, dude. Your school's like,
Oh,
what the fuck are you
man.
doing?
Yo, but I wanted to say something, Andy. So like me, I'm like I'm younger. I'm like 22, and like definitely like fresh out of high school. You know, I was in an apartment during high school, so I didn't get to shed as much as I wanted to. But
Right.
then I moved into with my grandfather, and I had my own room and my own shed space. So I really started to get into drumming again, rather than like, because in high school I was on the production tip and like learning the piano and bass so I can start composing stuff. And yeah, man, it was like that way. It was like I graduated in 2017, and like I was seeing you and Forrest and Chris Prado, and y'all three definitely really inspired me to develop the new level of vocabulary that I wanted, in terms of like being able to like groove on the ride and like sweep on the toms and like displace the kick whenever, and just kind of like flow for like 5 minutes while searching and keeping it fresh. And that was
Oh,
like,
thanks, man.
yeah, seeing y'all being able to do that, you know, and like be independent with the chicking, like that was like a huge bag that I strived for. You know, taking inspiration from y'all, and like once watching y'all, that really turned me over to like a way gnarlier um, playing style that I started to develop. And I really owe a lot um, to you guys, man, and especially you, like being like another Latino in the game, like
Right,
really
right.
pushing the shit. Like me, I'm Mexican, bro. There's not many Mexicans in modern jazz or like in modern
No,
music, like
nope.
fucking killing it,
Killing it.
bro. I
Right,
saw,
right.
I saw, I saw Mike. Like I'm from Texas, bro. Like we all know about Mike Mitchell. I saw Mike Mitchell shout you out on the inspiration for how he set up his kit, and that really touched my heart, because like I really feel like you're one of like the goats in our
Thanks,
generation of
man. I
drumming, and like
appreciate it,
and
bro.
I really love your playing and take it very personally, and I see the emotional connection that you have with the kid, and that's what I love. You play with 1,000% heart, 1,000% of the time, and that's the shit that people need to witness and strive for, man. So I appreciate that, and I appreciate hearing your story and the intensity of how you got what you got, and even the book shit, the underwater shit, like that's the shit. That's the real shit. Se- that's what separates
It's the
a
truth, though.
casual player from a legend, and that's it makes me happy, man.
Thank you, man. No, dude, I totally feel that, bro. Because I mean, that was another huge motivation, another factor in like my hunger was the fact that the lack of Latino representation in modern jazz and modern fusion and just music in terms of yeah, like modern jazz and modern fusion. There's really not much. Like I can just, I
There's
mean, obviously
Alex Acuna, maybe.
Alex Acuna. There's also Antonio Sanchez, Horacio Negro
Mm,
Hernandez.
yeah,
But in terms of like the way that like Dave Weckl, Steve Gadd, Billy Cobham, Tony Williams, Dennis Chambers, Jack DeJohnette, and then it goes then it goes into Jeff Tain Watts, Chris Dave,
yeah,
Ronald
yeah, yeah,
Bruner,
yeah, yeah.
Thomas Pridgeon, Eric Moore, Chris Coleman, like
Mm,
along that breadth of style
mm,
and and musical expression, like
mm,
there isn't. I mean, there isn't, there isn't,
mm,
and that was again like a huge factor in wanting to be one of those guys, you know, in today's time,
yeah, yeah.
and I feel like I'm just really fortunate and honored that there's a lot of young guys like yourself, like you and a bunch of other Hispanic cats, not only that live in the US, but all over like Latin America
Mm,
that get it, that get the
mm,
nuance, that understand, you know, that type of language, and then
Mhm.
see what I have done or how I've done it or approached it, and then take it to another level, you know, because that's what it's all about.
Mhm.
And yeah, man, like I mean, Mike Mitchell, like me and him talk all the time about the guys that are changing the game right now, you
Mhm.
know. And like, I mean, I love Mike, man. He's like one of my inspirations as well. And Mason, Sharik, you know, those
Oh
guys.
yeah, y'all
And
are all
then
crazy. Y'all are all crazy. Like I just love the amount of sportsmanship, and the reason I say sportsmanship is like the level of intensity, maintenance, and just overall philosophy around the kit and the how it's a lifestyle. You know, it's not
absolutely,
just
definitely a
how it
lifestyle.
you are. You know, when y'all play, the drums are you. You are the drum. It's really a true extension of your personality and your heart, and that's like, you know, y'all are pushing the bar all the time, no matter what. At extreme, it's amazing.
Man, I truly appreciate that, bro. I mean, it's like you said, it really is essential, and it's so embroidered in my DNA to play like I was a kid. It's just all the time, you know.
Mm.
It's can have drum. It's emotional. It's very spiritual. And it just takes me on nothing that I can't describe.
For sure,
And
for sure.
I feel like people feel that when they hear any Kalayuda or play or Justin Brown. It's just like a very connect with instrument. Like
Yeah,
it really separates uh, guys that can still play that and guys that can play but can make you feel and can you change your life. You know,
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like that is what really want to distinct inspiration because like we sit here all day and like there's a lot of guys that play already.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a lot of guys that are probably better, you know.
Mm.
But what said I want to inspiration is how I make you feel when you play the way and how I express myself. You know?
I love that because the kid too, and like I feel it's very important, and I feel like someone get lost with today's society, like Instagram and the mass,
Mm-hmm.
you know, mass like clips, just
Yes.
overhaul on clips. There's clips for days for me on this, and it's like, you know, we rely on who has the book.
Right. Right. No, speak facts.
You know, like, and that's like with a group, you know, mine's a band. You know, it's not, oh yeah, killer a bit. Shows people from, you know, from my music. It's no, we're a band. We have heart to heart with this together. Want people feel like, you know, and that's like my whole life. You know, and
Right. Right.
you know, like, you know, people could like do shit and be themselves and follow path. That's like statement. Like, it's great, phenomenal, that you bring philosophy up because that is what changes the game. That is what inspires millions of kids to pick the sticks up. You know, changing someone's life through the instrument and being aware of the inspiration that you hold, and you know, even just choosing to play drums for people because of the pure feeling of inspiring people to do something positive. You know,
Right.
it's amazing. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Those are that is exactly the reason why um that was the reason why I wanted to give it my all and work hard towards being the best
at the best me, the best version of myself,
Mhm.
is because I knew that there'd be kids, or there was going to be cats, or there was going to be like, or even people older than me that were going to be watching,
Mhm. Mhm.
that were going to be inspired, or we're going to be touched by what I do, whether it be for the positive or for the negative. So like that's why
Mhm.
it's so important that what you train when you were mentioning Forrest, Chris, and myself, Paprota,
Mhm.
like we got lucky that we caught the very first wave of Instagram and Facebook, social
Mhm.
media with drums.
Mhm. Mhm.
We caught that first wave, man, and we
Oh
just
yeah,
got
definitely.
it. It was like just the right place at the right time, and we were coming from a just we just want to be better. We're just hungry to learn, and we want to share with the world what we're learning and how we're
Mhm.
getting better. That was literally how it started. And that's what it was. We're literally just showing you the process of how we're getting better and
Mhm.
what we're learning. We're sharing out
Mhm.
there,
Mhm.
and yourself and a bunch of thousands of drummers that were coming up during that time. We just so happened to be like not at the forefront, but like in the beginning part of it. Same thing with Mason and Mike Mitchell. Like they were there, just sharing what they were, the gigs they were playing or what they were practicing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
And now everything is just so it's more for like the likes and the comments and the shares, as opposed to in the beginning it was just here's a clip of me showing you that I'm happy playing drums and that I love it, and that I'm getting better because I'm practicing every day. You know what I'm saying?
It was more like camp.
So
I feel like back then, like it was
yeah,
more like more like a real communal thing. I mean, I
yeah,
don't know.
absolutely. It was very communal. It was very, bro, especially on Facebook. I remember we used to talk all the time on the comments. Like everyone would comment and we would share, and it was very, very a close knit community, and it still kind of is.
Mhm.
But now it's just now it's a little bit more like how professional your cameras are, what mics, what interfaces you got. Uh,
Mhm.
how is your what is your brand pretty much? What are you showing to
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
world? Well, there's
Yeah.
nothing
Yeah.
wrong with it, but
Yeah.
what was touching or what was reaching out to people back then was from a very honest, very primordial standpoint, because it was just
Yeah.
drums. It was just drums. That's it,
Yeah. 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 For sure. Miss those days. Really, I miss those years. Feel
They
like
were good years, man.
everything's getting really not complicated. But everyone, I mean, I guess everyone's coming up. Everyone's getting serious.
Right,
Everyone's getting
right.
older and things are getting more intense. I mean, I'm a firm believer that also like pickup jazz kind of fucked up a lot of shit in my opinion in terms of like pe- pe- just like people's like and not even ego on like an inflated ego tip, but like ego on like people being really harsh on themselves and like wanting to give up and like just the whole like I don't know Instagram really kind of fabricated a whole like uh, pitch of like what it was, what it meant to be a jazz player in the now, and I feel like a lot of that was bullshit. Like I don't didn't feel like a lot of that was honest. I felt like watching people like y'all was what was real for me, or like watching Cuddy players, just play for the heart of the game, for the heart of the art, and like
Yeah,
I don't.
exactly, exactly.
Man, that's
But
awesome
yeah,
news
man,
to hear, you
that's a
guys.
good combo.
I didn't want to interrupt because you guys are doing you guys are doing great. I love all the stuff y'all are talking
What's
about.
up, Matthew? What's good, baby
I'm over
boy?
here, y'all. No, I'm kidding. This is um, yeah, Andy. I'm gonna piggyback on Brandon's really kind words here. You've really like been a trailblazer for a lot of these drummers that are coming up right now. When you look at people's top, some of their favorite drummers, a lot of you're making these lists. A lot of people really I would say like something that really goes through for me with you is that you're such a musical chameleon. You've been playing with a lot of different bands. Reading your bio here, you know, when I look at a band like Covality versus Sabrina Claudio, like completely different world, completely different realm. Um, how do you manage being able to perform with so many different acts?
Um, that the original source from that comes from when I was a kid. My dad was playing anywhere from music from the 40s to the 90s, man, day in day out. Like he would have like a lot of the best of the best number one songs from all those eras, and he would be constantly playing them, and I would just be internalizing all that stuff, so that helped with the groove and the feel, and also just playing at church. My cousin was into like Latin jazz and like salsa and all that stuff, so I was always playing like different genres at church when I was a kid. So
Mm-hmm.
except for jazz and fusion again, because that was later on in my life.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always there because I did it so much when I was a kid. So when I took it more serious around 19, 20, when I started taking lessons with Dave Illich, and he
Mm-hmm.
gave me all that repertoire of music, I just started shedding to everything. Like I started shedding to Hella, Hella,
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Zach Hill.
Zach Hill. I started shedding that to Mint Condition. I started
Yeah,
shedding Mint Condition
yeah,
to Death Cab for Cutie, to Mana, to Mahavishnu. So I was
yeah,
playing
yeah.
all that stuff religiously, and it just helped because when the moment came to play with someone like Sabrina, like I knew how to lay in the pocket and make it feel good. Cause also prior to that, I had been playing um, at a gospel church for 3 years, and I was just fortunate that the musicians there were like some of the best in the world in terms of like gospel and just period. Like Paul Jackson Jr., the guitar player, like he was playing at that church. Um, a bunch of like amazing musicians there taught me how to lay back and like feel the music, and that helped when Sabrina came about. And then playing Prague, I mean, I love jazz fusion since I was 19. So when Covality came about, I was like kind of ready. I was like, damn, hell yeah,
Funny.
I want to play time signatures.
That's funny, man, because literally the whole fusion tip really hit me at 19 as well. I was 19 years old when it really like smacked me in the face.
Yeah, and I feel like I'm glad it did during that time because it would have been way over my head if it would have come in too early.
Mm-hmm.
And it
Mm-hmm.
was still kind of over my head at 19. The
Mm-hmm.
older I got, the more I understood it, especially when I turned 25, like in 2013 or 15 or 14. Like it really
Mm-hmm.
started to cement more in my brain, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So that helped me just differentiate and separate what it means to play with someone like, let's say, Scary Poo Party,
Mm-hmm.
someone in like a Persian band, like you
Mm-hmm.
just you just got to really pay attention to the nuances of that specific music.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
when you're playing that music, you gotta just live it and breathe it and act like you're part of the culture, or be part of the culture. 100%. Don't
Mm-hmm.
not even act like it. Like be part of the culture and learn
Mm-hmm.
why the music sounds the way it sounds, or why they play on top of the beat, or on the
Mm-hmm.
beat or behind the beat. Like
Mm-hmm.
so all those things I was just really studious about, and it helped in being more versatile.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. I'm glad you brought up Scary Pool Party. Um, I've been like a huge Alejandro fan, in a sense, like I don't know, man, for a long time. Um, like prior to American Idol, I was like
Right, right.
on his gram, like being like, whoa, who the heck is this guy? So how'd you guys link up? And yeah, that Doom hologram record and that LA EP is really cool. Did you play on the whole LA EP, or was it just um, And yeah, what was it like tracking Doom Hologram? That's like kind of
So
the metal record.
I started playing with Alejandro because I played with this band called The Wires, and those two guys, Max and Travis, they play with Alejandro, and they've known him. They had known him for like quite some time already. So when Darren King from Mute Math couldn't do it no more, my boy Max, who plays bass with Scary with Alejandro, he's like, "Yo, you want to do this YouTube session thing with Alejandro?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'd be down." And that's how that came about.
Yeah.
Because I was just playing with this band called Wires, and they just so happened to be his musicians. So that's how I met Alejandro. And then, bro, me and Alejandro, bro, we hit it off like we had known each other for decades, man. And we just connected musically and emotionally as friends, bro. And so we just became so close that he started hitting me up for all his session stuff. And I've been doing all his session stuff since Doom Hologram. And like even his newest record, The Act of Forgiveness, I did drums on like 14, 15 songs on that whole record.
Man, that's
which is the new one that just released.
Songs or something too.
What was that?
That's like 21 or 26
yeah.
songs or something.
Yeah, it's 21 songs. So I did like 14, 15 songs. Dude, that album's beautiful. Doom Hologram we recorded that during the pandemic. And it was like, I think it was June or July that he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, you want to play drums on like this EP I'm coming out with? It's going to be like this style." And like, I would really want for you to play drums. And I was like, "Yeah, man, heck yeah." And he sent me the tracks a couple days before the session, and I just listened to them. They had really, really, really basic drums, like basic, nothing that's like what's on the record. And I heard that, I'm like, okay, I could play like this, I could play like that. And then when I went in, he's like, "Man, just be you." And I was just myself, and I that's how I tracked those songs on Doom Hologram. And it was fun, bro, because he's like a musician, and he's like, "Yeah, man, that shit was crazy." Like, "Oh man." And that would pump me up. So when the next song would come, I was like even more pumped up and more excited. And once the song would come in, I would just go into that mode of, okay, this is what the song needs. And obviously he knows what he wants. So he's also guiding me like, "Yo, here, like, oh, do this," you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Damn, dude, that's really cool. Like I said, I'm just a huge fan of Alejandro, and seeing all that stuff come together, seeing his career kind of take off as well has been really, really nice.
Absolutely.
So, bro, this is just a funny like side story, but I played. I got to play like a weird off trio gig with the bassist of Covality, Elliot, Fretless Elliot, once.
Oh.
And cause we had played in it was like a fusion gig, and we were doing and we were just talking, and we were both in like math rock bands, and he's like, "Dude, yeah, I'm in this band called Covality," and I'm like, "Whoa, okay, cool, dude." Like, when you just meet someone, like, you don't really know like what's going on, but I heard Elliot play, and I was like, "Oh shit!" So I checked out that band, and then as soon like I didn't put two and two together until I was prepping for the interview, and I was like, "Whoa, shit!" Like, that's insane. So yeah, I was maybe on some Covality stuff, like, who writes the songs, or how do you see yourself functioning in that band other than just playing? Yeah. Do you participate in the songwriting process, or do they bring it to you? Like, how does that all go down?
So for the new stuff that's gonna come out, I'm more a part of this songwriting process. In terms of the album we just released, all those songs had been brewing for 10 years up to that point. So like I was like the fourth, fifth drummer. So there was already parts that were a part of each song. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So there was already patterns and parts written drum wise. So when I came in, they showed me what they wanted me to play for each song and what section they wanted me to play this way or that way. And then when I understood like the basic bone structure of the song, then I started to implement my flavor of playing that particular groove that they wanted me to play. Certain sections in certain songs I wrote, but like the majority of the drum sections were already there by the time I joined Covality. So the main architects of the songwriting, or I mean the architects, were definitely John and Derek. Mainly John, the guitar player. Again, he had already written this stuff even before Derek joined too, actually.
Wow.
So now going forward, I'm definitely a, a, a bigger part of the writing process for the new songs that are going to come out. And, you know, I'm sharing more of my ideas and more of like the songwriting aspect of it, you know?
Sure.
But a huge chunk of it has to do with the fact that John and Derek live together and they've lived together for a long time. And because they live together, you know, they're always throwing and hashing out ideas to each other. So by the time I come to rehearsal or when we want to get together, they're like, "Yo, like we have this new song. Like, what do you think?" The good thing now, or the better thing for me, is that none of these new songs have drums on them. You know, I gotta sit down and kind of write parts. You know.
Yeah, sure. That's cool. That's killing. So when let's talk about the new stuff coming out soon. When can we expect some new Andy Prado joints coming out?
With Covality,
Yeah.
man, hopefully, uh, geez, hopefully in the next like year or next year, a year and a half, because half of the album's already written. We just got to sit down and like hash out all the parts. Um, so hopefully we can record this at the beginning of the summer of 2022. You know what I mean?
Right on. And what about for you personally? Anything on the docket that's coming out that's maybe maybe released here on the drum stream or any projects we should be looking out for coming forward? Any tours?
Yeah. So I, like I said, you know, like I had told you earlier before joining on here, like I just bought a house and it came with a basement. So now a portion of the basement's my studio, which just got completely remodeled and it's brand new. And I'm ready to, you know, work on a lot of material to release out to the public. For example, like um, countless amount of master classes that I will record and release. Um, so I'm definitely gonna start my website and Patreon and put all this stuff on my website with like classes, with tips, gold nuggets. Again, the mini master classes. And then I'm also gonna be writing like my own music because I want to start my own band. You know, I do have some musicians that are in my like quartet, you could say. So that's definitely in the works. And I definitely just want to share with the world how I approach playing to certain artists, you know, for example, like Phil Collins, you know, Erica Badu, like stuff like that. Like I want to record myself playing and interpret their music according to what I hear in my head. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So now that I have a spot and I'm gonna have like mics and it's gonna look tight as hell, like I'm gonna be doing that. I really want to like share with the world how like I can approach music from a different standpoint, you know, because everyone, you know, has their way of doing it. But like I want to show like, okay, how would I approach a drumless track, or how would I approach if I was playing with Phil Collins? You know what I'm saying? So like that's really motivating me right now. So all that is in the works. Obviously, I'm going on tour with Sabrina next year. Um, so that already is going to take a huge chunk of my time. Um, and that's like the main stuff that's in the works right now.
Well, that's all really exciting stuff. You know, we hope that you can come back sometime and you know update us on what's going on. Always please
Absolutely.
let us know if there's anything we can pimp out on the drum news. We always like to give you guys the opportunity to throw out that stuff so we can gets us some things to talk about, but also props up the drum fam. Keeps it high up there.
For
I
sure.
want
For
to
sure. For sure.
reach out to the chat here to let them know that if there's any questions you guys want to ask Andy, please send them now because we're on a 1:15 deadline here, and then we're gonna take it off for the week.
For
so
sure.
Everyone, unless anyone's got some questions, it might be a good time to wrap. And really thank Andy for being here and Brandon for always coming in, checking, and to the entire audience here that was kicking it on the drum stream today. Really appreciate y'all's input. I know my mic's a little quiet. Had a little bit of a mishap happen here, so I'm yelling into my computer over here. With that all done, I really appreciate everyone's patience with the drum stream today, and huge thanks to Andy for coming out.